Good morning, Monday the 10th. I want to say thank you for all of you guys joining me on the Sales Hustle Club. This is where we recalibrate. This is where we plug in our energy in our beings to have a great sales week. I hope this is the best 30 minutes of your week to get you turned on and ready to have a fantastic start of your year. This is your year if you decide to make it so. And one of the things I love to do is do some goal setting. I did all my goal setting over the holidays, mapped it all out, did some goal setting with my kids, did some goal setting with my friends that are in my circle. And it really just helps so much to have someone to go along with you on your goal setting to have the best year. This is your opportunity to really get engaged. A couple of little announcements before I go forward, and that is we have a brand new CallProof Plus app called 5.0. It comes out tomorrow, and it will be a required update. We have some new functionality in our app that we're moving into that's going to be fantastic. One of which is it's going to be a bit faster. We're bringing on this functionality called offline mode. So if you are in a low bandwidth area, CallProof will be faster for you. That'll be a big plus for us. We made some enhancements for asynchronous video. If you're not using asynchronous video, you should. This is a great way to connect with your other team members. If you are a sales leader, sales manager, and you want to have an ad hoc sales meeting or share best practices, just click on the team buttons and you can start talking directly with people. It's a really great feature, really changed the game on CRM. Nobody else is doing this. This is first of its kind. And it's everything I've learned about communicating with your people, because 80% of your day is talking to people. And the way you connect with people makes the difference. So one big thing, the reason that we're bringing this out is we are now enabling sales organizations to get rid of the company phone, okay? This is a feature that we've spent all year building, and it's the ability to use your phone, use the CallProof app, and have a custom number inside of the app. So no longer do you have to need to go to Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile or whatever to buy a separate phone. You know those people. You may be that person. You carry around a company phone. You carry around a personal phone. What a giant hassle that could be. We have made it easy to put that number. So we could take your Verizon phone number, bring it on over to CallProof, put it inside the app. It's going to be able to separate your business and personal life, right? All your text messages that you're sending to your clients and prospects are now going to be under the CRM when you use that number functionality. We don't have access to your text messages, by the way. In your app, in the CallProof app, we don't have those. But if you do import a company number, let's say a Verizon phone, we actually can port that over. It's a process. It'll take 2 or 3 days to actually do that. But you're going to have enhanced capability with text messaging. You could have recorded incoming and outgoing calls to your clients and prospects that are automatically in the CRM without you having to do anything. It's going to be magical. It's going to save companies lots of money because now they're going to have the ability to eliminate a lot of the data entry of even reporting a call, because it's automatically going to be in the database. So if you want to see companies you haven't spoken with in a while or contacts you haven't spoken in a while, you're going to be able to have that. It is game changing, but we're going to be adding some new functionality around text messaging on being able to send text messages to many contacts without you having to do them one at a time. So we're going to be adding some functionality that's going to be kind of next level, and it's not being done in the industry right now. And we're going to be having that available. The update is tomorrow. If you want to have a conversation how the company phone number process works, it is an added feature. I have a beta plan that we're going to be offering for the first half of the year, so you can try it out. But a lot of people are spending $75 a month plus the cost of a phone to supply someone's phone. And the problem with supplying someone a phone is if they could lose it or whatever. The other problem is a lot of people allow sales reps to use their personal phone. Well, if your sales rep leaves the company, all your customers have a number of a person who no longer works here. I got to say this, Ralph, you're really distracting me because I see a beach behind you and I'm like, why am I not at the beach right now? But anyway, hats off to you, my friend, for being able to be at the beach as well. So let's get this party started. Thank you so much again for jumping on here and get into the presentation, the meat and potatoes, why you came in, to talk about these habits to avoid going into our year. Sometimes it's best to not talk about what to do. How about we talk about what not to do? It's just changing the game and the way we're going to do this presentation today. All righty. So, number one, this is something that I fall into this trap all the time. Listen, what you watch on the news creates negative programming. You know, news channels don't make the news to feed you with information. They feed you the news to show you the brand new Toyota that was just released, right? They show you the news for your attention. And they are really good at it because fear is a great way to get your attention. Don't let the news dip into your paycheck. When you allow the news and your attention to the news to take your mood down, it is going to cost you money. So watch something else, or maybe not watch anything at all. What could you replace your time with if you weren't watching the news? Number two, aimlessly scrolling on social media. It's the same thing. You know, the average person scrolls on their phone aimlessly for 2.5 hours a day. Do you know that 75 days? Think about this, 2.5 months. Really? I just want you to stop for a moment and ask yourself, if you just said, you know what, I'm going to do an hour away from what I've been doing before. And in your phones is an app called Digital Wellbeing. It's on Apple. It's on Android. Look at that every single week. That should be your accountability buddy saying, hey, why are you giving this phone so much of your money? The most expensive thing you own is your phone. Because when you dedicate your time on it, it's time away from selling. Now, when I say this to people, they're like, well, you say, well, I'm not going to use my phone as much. How often have you tried to stay away from your phone, but you still pick it up and you just magically are scrolling? One idea to do is use CallProof to call and follow up with someone. Use CallProof to set your reminders or go through and email people that you need to follow up with. Use the same behavior of the addiction to your phone to do something different that makes you money. Think about it. If you devoted half of that 75 days and you said 32 days a year, you were dedicated to growing your business, you were dedicated to getting a new prospect, you were dedicated to follow up that lead you didn't follow up to, would you make more money? Yes, and yes, you would make more money. I want you to make more money. Promise you, you'll have better vacations when you do. Talking to negative people before your sales day begins. Now, I used to have a friend, and I say used to because I had to end that relationship. And I would get in the habit of calling them on my way to my first appointment. And this dude was always whining about something. And my whole day, I eventually was like, over time, I was like, man, I just don't feel right today. Why do I not feel right? Well, this guy was just negative. And I got in the habit, and he was a good friend, but I got in the habit to know when to talk to him. I was not going to allow him to take money out of my checking account, because when you have someone in your life sucking your energy, you're not able to use that energy on growing your sales, growing your business, and reaching your goals. So figure out who in your world could be this way. Now, I'm going to get a real uncomfortable with you because you may have a spouse that zaps you before you leave the house. Okay? If you're in sales, you need to have this conversation. Honey, I got to tell you something about how the sales thing works. This is how it works. It's my energy that makes the sales happen. And when I got low energy because you hit me with a hot topic or challenging conversation before I go to work, it really makes it difficult to me to focus on selling. Can we have uncomfortable conversations after I get home from work? It's a different way to phrase it. And if you have someone in your world that is doing that, recognize this. Now, if you are that negative person, recognize you're doing this because you're sucking the energy from someone else. Choose to have those negative conversations at the end of the business day. Let's talk about hard conversations. Now, I just said a minute ago to not do it. Now I'm saying avoid conversations later. Be smart about how you have conversations. When I say uncomfortable conversations, I'm talking about you're talking to a prospect, you're talking about a sale, and they say something about the product that does not exist, that it doesn't do, and you avoid tackling a hard conversation. Well, wait a minute. No, our software does not do that. Our system is not made for that. That's an uncomfortable conversation, but face it head on. You don't want to put off those hard conversations because guess where they reside when you put off the conversation? It's not kicking the ball down the field. No. It's putting it right here on my shoulders. And I get to walk around with, I got to have this conversation. I don't want to have this conversation. Oh, I dread this conversation. Maybe the conversation isn't going to be as bad as you have imagined it to. So have the conversations. Don't avoid those tough conversations. Here's one that you should all be aware of. Always happens. Always happens. If I don't close a deal, and I would literally, being honest with myself, after I do a presentation, and let's say they say no, they don't buy. Almost always it was a result that they did not connect with me. In other words, I did not connect with them. I did not build enough time and energy around building the rapport that's necessary for me to close a sale. Good rules of thumb when you first meet someone, I always gotta go their name. You gotta know their name. You gotta use their name in conversation, but have time built in your presentation. So you're building some rapport with your client. And also be aware when you leave a customer that you have not closed the sale, be thinking about what happened with that opportunity. Was it because you did not spend enough time building proper rapport? Now, here's another one. Eating food that doesn't supply you with good energy. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you to eat right, but I will tell you that eating right will make you a lot more money. Everyone is different. Everyone has different availability to healthy food, but I will tell you, all of you know what it's like when you eat a big thing of spaghetti. How do you feel? Does it feel heavy in your stomach? Does it feel like you're ready to go crush it out into the universe? I don't know what it is like for you, but understand what food gives you energy and understand what foods take your energy away. And as long as you understand that, be disciplined in eating the right things because it absolutely affects your paycheck. Because if you don't have energy, it's going to be very difficult to maximize your sales abilities. Here's another one. It's drinking too much the night before. I always tell people, and I'm only copying from other people, I am 6 years sober on this journey. And when I heard this statement, it made so much sense to me. And that is, alcohol steals happiness from tomorrow. That's all it is. Lots of people love to drink. I used to love to drink, but I started to see it made my life worse. I have never met a person who got sober and their life went to crap. Never, ever has ever happened in the history. Your life just gets better. The main thing about alcohol is it zaps your energy because by affecting the way you sleep, it affects the entire day. It's all about our sleep, and alcohol use affects your sleep. So make better decisions for your sales day. Now, I could also say a whole long story about drinking in front of clients, and that's a whole nother story. We'll have that discussion another day. Making promises you can't deliver on. That's called lying, okay? Customers want to buy from people they trust, okay? Now, we all have kind of done these things. How I'll follow up with you tomorrow, and you don't follow up, okay? That's challenging your integrity. Your customer will not trust you. So if you're going to make a promise, by gosh, follow through. Making excuses for not doing the work, okay? What is the work, okay? The work is anything. The work could be a cold call. The work could be a presentation. It could be being prepared. No. If you live with an accountability partner on your shoulder, yourself, you're able to look in the mirror and only blame yourself when things don't go your way. It's going to help give you the discipline to do the work that's necessary. Listen, if you wanted me to go on a creative exercise and give you 1,000 reasons why not to do something, I could do that very well. My favorite excuse I'd ever heard from an actual salesperson was she was having a bad hair day. And I get it. We have bad hair days, but it doesn't matter because we can't put excuses in our checking account. The bank does not allow them. They don't have a little line item in your deposit slip to put the excuses in. So don't make them up. Just be accountable. Blaming others for failing to achieve your goals. That's the pointing finger technique. Okay, it's not my fault. It's their fault. The customer's fault for not buying. No. If the customer didn't buy, you should have had more people in your sales funnel that would say yes to you. That means you're not reaching enough people, so the no's don't matter. No's don't matter. Like the volume of people that you are talking to and you have in your sales funnel makes all the difference. You need to have multiple opportunities so someone can say yes. But don't blame others. And also, don't blame other salespeople because I hear this a lot. Well, so-and-so's got the better territory, but so-and-so is, no. Let's just hold ourselves accountable, and that's a better way of moving forward. Number 11 should have been the first one I talked about, not making a goal. Listen, you can't achieve your dreams if you have no dream. You can't achieve a goal if you have no goal. Make a flipping goal and stick to it. If you make a goal, you're going to sell 100 widgets and next month you only sell 50. Either you're picking the wrong amount so you're not able to achieve your goals. It's way out of hand or what you could possibly do. Or you haven't tried hard enough. Could be a possibility. But before any of that, figure out what you want and write it down. The universe is going to supply you with what you need as long as you do the discipline work to get it done. But write it down first. Talking more than listening. This is a common trait for a lot of salespeople. They know their product. They know how awesome and the value they create. They go into a meeting and then they just blah, 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 blah. Me, my company. Do you want to buy? No. Listen, the customer should be speaking more than you. That's it. People love to talk about themselves, okay? But think about it like this. Think of any interaction you've ever had with a salesperson in your life where the salesperson talked the whole time. You did not think that was a great conversation. Think back to the time that the customer asked a ton of questions or revolving around your pain point and you were talking the whole time. You think the relationship is golden. Talk less, listen more. Wearing the wrong clothes. Okay, this is a very common one for a lot of people. Ill-fitting clothing, okay? Yeah, my shirt's a little tight. This is the way I like to wear my shirts. My clothing and your clothing should give you confidence that you feel good in your body, okay? I've seen a lot of people lose a bunch of weight and wear the same clothes and they look ill-fitting. No, upgrade your clothing. It will make you feel better. It will make you have more confidence. And it sets a statement about you. But at the same time, depending on your industry, if I'm going to see farmers, I'm not out in the field with a suit and tie. You know, decide who your audience is and dress like them, but clean. No spaghetti stains on our shirts. Not sending calendar invites or reminders of meetings. This is a critical one. This kind of sets the way you're going to do business with someone. If I am talking to a prospect and we set a meeting for another time, which is best done during the meeting, make sure you do a calendar invite. And in the calendar invite, you want to make sure, is it a Zoom? Is it a face-to-face meeting? Do you have the address in the address line? I see this so many times. People drive me crazy with this because we can put an address in the invite and it makes it super easy to know where my next appointment is. And in fact, Google will remind me what's next. But the problem is a lot of salespeople don't even bother putting the address in the system. It clears up so many things for your prospects. It sets the stage of how you work and are organized as a salesperson. Put those in there and put automatic reminders in there for those meetings as you set up your calendar invite. This is a problem that I would be willing to say every single salesperson has been guilty of getting a lead and waiting too long to call the lead. And when you call the lead, guess what? They're gone. They have another solution they have already bought. What a bummer. Call the lead as soon as humanly possible. Text the lead as soon as humanly possible. Email the lead as soon as humanly possible. You called them, they didn't answer, call again. The oldest trick in getting someone to answer the phone right now is call twice. They didn't answer, they sent you to voicemail, call again. They're thinking, who is this person calling? They're going to answer. Call leads immediately. Now, here's another one. Not using names in conversations. When we hear our own name, it is love in the air. We love to hear our own names. Use names in conversation. If I meet a new prospect, the first thing I do out of the gate, first things first, what was your name? Charles. Hey, Charles, my name is Robert. I'm with CallProof. Charles, thanks for meeting with me right now. Charles, tell me, who are you currently using for your CRM? Charles, question. Charles, question. In my conversation with Charles, I use his name. It tells him I care about him and I know who he is. Not getting regular exercise. Listen, you make energy. You make energy. When you walk, you are creating energy. It will wake you up. You feel a little bit sleepy, a little bit tired, go on a walk. You will be awoken. You will have fresh air. It will feel good. I don't care if it's weightlifting or yoga or whatever you want to do, CrossFit, do some kind of exercise and basically just walk. That's exercise. It will make you feel better. You will have a better day. You will have more energy about you and your spirit when you're working with someone, and it just feels good. Make your calls while you're walking. There's a ton of other ways to make exercise also productive. Not respecting the gatekeeper. This is a common habit that people have, and I've seen this from really bad salespeople. And these salespeople mistreat the person that is in front of your prospect. Maybe not being respectful to them, maybe talking on the phone in the waiting room loudly with this other person. Listen, they know all the stuff in the company. They got the schedules. They know where all the bodies are buried. They know all the secrets. They know how to get to the right people. treat them awesomely. Is there something you could give them? Some candy, some treats, some donuts, whatever it is, make them like you. I have not done business with people because my secretary that was answering all of our phones didn't like the person. And I would only assume that happens a lot for a lot of people that aren't treating the receptionist or the gatekeeper in the right way. Now, here's another one. I got to drink of water. Assuming the pain of the customer. If you're out in the field selling a particular solution, let's say it was payroll services, and you know that ADP, one of your top competitors, was a real pain in the butt to enter payroll every month. And you were going around and everyone you talked to told you this one particular pain point. It could make you assume what the pain point is for the customer. Get the customer to tell you the pain point first so you can lean into more questions about that pain point. Don't make an assumption about what the pain point is. Let the customer vocalize it for you. Role playing, handling objections. Now, I've covered this in past Sales Hustle Club calls, and this is basically you are a professional sports team, okay? Professional sports teams right now that just played on Sunday, they have all gotten together to collaborate and talk about what went well yesterday. How did the game go? Let's talk about what worked and what didn't work. And throughout the week, they're going to be practicing their plays so when they have a real game, they are ready with understanding what the play is. Role practice is you, a fake customer, and a witness. And what you're doing is you're pretending the top objections, which most companies only have 8 objections. It costs too much. Your product doesn't do what I need it to do. Whatever it is, most companies only have 8. Practice what you say when you hear that objection. So when you actually hear it in the real world, you answer it with confidence so you can close the sale. Selling out of your own pockets. And I saw this a lot because I was also in retail, and I saw this a lot with salespeople that, we used to sell cell phones. We sold lots of accessories, and salespeople would be real nervous about selling the accessories because they cost a lot. But every single person has a cell phone, should have a charger, should have an extra home charger, should have a Bluetooth headset, you should have a case, and they should have some protective covering on the screen. Well, that adds up to a lot of money. And a lot of salespeople would get in the habit of, they will only try to sell 1 or 2 items. That is selling with your own checkbook. You don't know what they have in their checking account. You don't know what they can afford. So stop using your checkbook as the determining factor on what they would buy. Giving too many options. Years ago, in my 20s, first house, I needed to buy a refrigerator, okay? Well, back then, you know where I went to? I went to Sears. Yeah, that was a place. I went to Sears. I think it's still a place. I went to Sears, and I walked in, and Sears had all these refrigerators. I walk in, and they had sale, this one, that one, Kenmore, whatever. There was like tons of refrigerators. And I walked up to a sales rep, and I said, he said, what are you looking for? And I said, I'm looking for a refrigerator. And he showed me like 4 or 5 options. And I was like, I can't decide. So I left and I drove by this little appliance store called Murfreesboro Appliance. Not the sexiest name you've ever seen. Not the sexiest storefront you've ever seen. And not that many options of refrigerators when I walked in. When I walked in, I said, hey, I'm looking for a refrigerator. When the sales rep asked, and he goes, okay, tell me, how many people are in your household? I said, me? I said, well, what's in your refrigerator right now? I said, I got a pizza box and some ketchup and some milk, and I got some eggs. That's about it. And he goes, perfect. I got the perfect refrigerator for you. And he walked over and showed me the perfect refrigerator, which in hindsight cost me $100 more from him than the other place. But guess what? I felt comfortable buying from him because he asked the right questions. Be careful with options. It makes people really difficult to make a decision. Last but not least, your goal for 2023, your habit that you need to get rid of is you gotta have activity goals. Set your intentions for this year. How many calls do you need to make to get your sales goals? It's going to take the activity. It's going to take the discipline. It's going to take some paying attention to your calendar so you know you have the time and energy to see more prospects, to make more calls, to grow your business. You know, at the end of the day, selling is the disciplines to win. When you have discipline, when you have the things that you need to do each and every day to win, you're tracking that information, you're doing your follow-ups, you're connecting with people, you're really having some great conversations, you're doing the practice, you're doing the right habits, you're going to have a better year than the year before. Listen, we're not perfect, but we try. And I hope these Sales Hustle Club calls add value to you. I hope it helps you to inspire you to maybe add one little thing here and there that would help your day. I put these recordings on our YouTube channel. Yes, we have a YouTube channel. Please subscribe. I would love a subscriber. I would love a nice compliment or comment about maybe a new habit that you've started. Maybe it's something you've learned that you've put into practice and it's helping you. Please help to share this story. If you need some help from the CallProof team, we are here. If you have a question, you certainly stand up and say something or unmute your microphone and say, hey, Robert, I got a question. Happy to help answer or train you on something that you need help with for this year. In the channel. You can also reach us at support@callproof.com by emailing us. And as a reminder, if you came in a little bit late, understand that we have a big update tomorrow. This update is a requirement that you update so the app will work. If you don't update the app tomorrow, it may not work for you and you will need to update it before it will actually start working. So I want to make sure you guys know this. Miss Ashley, team, is there anything I missed here before I go? Is there a comment or anything that I need to cover? What song is this? What song is this? It's called Rise is the name of the song. And it's from the League of Legends. So if you look up Rise and it's what song I use to get my energy flowing, to give it to you guys. So you guys have a kick-ass 23. So thank you. You guys have a fantastic day. If nobody's having any questions, I'll let you guys loose. See ya.